Hi everyone! Finally, it's time for the Color and Chat in Magical Garden, the new coloring book by Japanese illustrator Eriy that I have promised you. And I put 4 different drawings from the book up for a vote in the community, and a lot of you, not all, but a lot of you, 43% voted for this page with the house for rent. So today we're going to color this page. Now, I have heard good things about this paper from a couple of people, and from more people I have heard bad things about this paper, that it's not as thick as the old books, and that it's you have to be careful with it because it doesn't take water mediums very well, and sometimes depending on what pencils you use, the next page might get dented a little bit. So you can see the pencils if you press too hard here on the other page. So I have not colored in this before, so I will just form my own opinion after coloring this page here. But be warned, some people say it's very easy to color, and quite a few others are not satisfied with the paper in this book. They are quite disappointed. So let's begin coloring and see what we can do with the paper in this book. My name is Katja. I'm Cat Coloring. Welcome to my channel. Grab your copy of Magical Country and your coloring pencils, and let's get started with this one. Okay, first things first. This is not quite like the other books. I said it was smaller. This should make it easier to, get the overview of a page. But you can also see here that we do get an edge here when we flip through the book. So I will have to have very, very sharpened pencil to be able to color all of the way in here, or else I will get a white line here. So we will just have to accept that. So this page, well, how are you going to do this? Well, I like to begin with the background. This is the sky, and as I have heard rumors about watercolor mediums in this book, I dare not, until I have tried on one of the back pages, I dare not try anything with watercolor. So I will just stick with coloring pencils on this page. You can see here we have a nice house for rent. We have a kitchen garden. We have some fruit trees. We have a lovely, cute little house and a bird's nest up here in the chimney. And that was why Mary Abbott didn't rent this house, but found another house in the city when she was going to live in Ramsmignon. So when we're going to be coloring this sky, of course, we are going to be using, you can hear I'm just, beginning to find some pencils. We are going to use some, I think, blue pencils. We have some clouds up here, and I think that this looks like a really nice, well, could be a spring or summer day, with a nice blue sky and some bright colors here with the green trees and all of these plants here in the kitchen garden here. So I will just be choosing some blue colors, and well, we have one here and here. Well, I'm not kidding. I have this one here, but of course I will have to find a bigger sky blue light eventually, because that is just a bit too small now. And if you are in doubt about colors, you can always look at your color family charts. And I use this one from Color with Claire because it's good and I am very used to looking at it. So if I want to use a non-photo blue, which was this pencil, and I really do, then I would like to blend it with the sky blue light. But perhaps, well, we could just color everything with this color, or you could also, if you want to, because when you look at the sky, it changes color, and sometimes it's a bit paler down here, and then it gets this really bright blue color here up at the top. But we don't have a lot of room, so I think I will stick with the easy solution, which is using the non-photo blue and then blend it out with the sky blue light. You could also use a Prismacolor blender. I have a sneaking suspicion that a blender might be good to use here. So if you don't want to use another coloring pencil on top, you could just use the blender. But let me just find some paper. You know, we always have to put some paper behind, and I usually just use, you know, some used paper just to protect the other pages here. Then I have my pencil extender, and then I am ready to begin. And then if you look down here, well, you have also to decide how much down do you want the sky to go, because is this the sky? No, it's probably some sort of garden background. So perhaps you would like a pale background green color here. So I will begin here. And as you can see, I just use some circular motions here. I use Prismacolors. These are one of the coloring pencil brands I know the best. I could also have chosen polychromas. In this case, because it is a Japanese coloring book, and a lot of the paper in most Japanese coloring books work great with oil-based pencils. So polychromas from Faber-Castell, which is an oil-based pencil brand, could also have been a wonderful choice for this. But I don't know how the paper will take to blending with these oil-based pencils, and as I said, I want to be able to blend it out. You can also see I don't have a lot of pressure here on my coloring pencils, and still we have a lot of color coming down here on the page. And here is where we will guess. I think I can see an edge of the tree here, so oh, and here also, sometimes it's really difficult to distinguish between leaves and sky and other leaves and trees in the background. So you really have to concentrate here. Oh, so we have two different sort of plants. We have some, are they beans here in the background, and some others here in the front. So this is really not easy. I think this is the tree here, and this must also be the tree, if you can see the edge sort of here, and another leaf here. So I think that we will just move up here, further up. And then just try to color this one. So you can see you really have to be careful when you color like this. And also around this bird here. So there's no need for you to see that I color, so I will just finish this sky, a bit of the sky off camera, and then we will begin blending with the other one on top. Okay, so when that's colored, you take your sky blue light, and well, you know, we have to use our pencils until the very end. So and this is too small to put in a pencil extender. Well, one of the advantages, if you want to blend out with a lighter pencil, is that you also get this color blended out, but also you make it a bit lighter than what it would be if you used a blender pencil. So what the sky blue light does is that the quite powerful blue color we have here with the non-photo blue gets just a little bit paler and not quite as dominant as if it would be if I didn't use this sky blue light. And you can see what the result looks like when you do it here. So here I haven't blended, and here I have. So I will just blend the rest of it and then we will continue. And well, we do have some tree trunks here. I think that I will be using the 90% French gray and also the 70% French gray for this tree. So, you know, they have sort of a, well, sort of a brown color. And then 90% to, you know, just add a little bit of shadow here and there. And well, there should be one here, but it's really, really difficult to see it. So I think that I will just color this one down here with, you know, the same sort of tree color. And also this one, I know this is a chimney. It really looks like it's something from a tree. Well, I think that was it. I think that this fence here we will color in another color. And then some green background here, and here I thought that we could do it with a light green color. So if we take the light green here, again, it's more, you know, to give it a sort of green color here, because it's probably not all the sky all the way down here to the edge. Oh, we have some carrots down here. And also over here. And here it can be really difficult. I think that that was actually a leaf that I accidentally colored. Really not easy with all of these little details here. And I think that we will just take it down to here. So I think that this is fitting. It looks like, oh, it looks like that I missed something. This is still this sort of tree for the for rent sign here. Yeah, I really did miss that. Okay, so if you want to blend that out, you could just use the gray-green light. To, well, partly blend it out, partly pale it just a little bit. It's really not easy to see everything here. I think that I have got it all now, but, well, if I have missed something, then we can just, you know, color it green. So spring is finally here, really, in Denmark. I still think it's a bit cold, but we do have a lot of sunshine now. I've just been out for a walk with my dog, with Tiger. And of course, I was at work today. Today is actually Saturday, but I was at work because we have a, you know, one of those days teachers have when they are going to plan the following year and who's going to have which classes and subjects and all that. And so it was, of course, it's nice to have it done, but I have spent a Saturday on it. So when I got home, I just had to go for a walk with Tiger and get some air. And where I was at work, it was completely blue sky, sun was shining, everything was beautiful. And then I came home and, well, we still have a blue sky, but we have so many clouds here where I live, so that the sun is covered quite a lot of the time. So I didn't get to see that much sun like I wanted to. But anyway, now I can finally have some of my weekend. I think that this one is also supposed to be green here. So that was the background. So let's find some colors for the trees. So we do have some trees here, and well, I think it looks like apples. Perhaps it could be oranges, but I do think it looks like apples. And we can see that we have some beans here, and we have carrots, and we have some, either it's cabbage or lettuce. It's a bit difficult to see. And this, perhaps it's potato plants. I'm not quite sure, but it looks like this is a summer garden here. So I want to have, you know, some color on these leaves here. So I think that I will be using, and this is the olive green. But I don't want it to be too dark, because if I follow the color family for olive green, then I should use either Prussian green to make it darker, or Kelly green to make it lighter, and sap green light. But I don't think that apple leaves have this kind of color combination. So I think that I will be using my apple green to make it a little bit lighter somewhere. And if I want darker areas, then I will use the Prussian green, which I have here. So olive green, perhaps some Prussian green, and then some apple green. So let's take this one here. And you can see that we must have some darker areas here. I think this is an apple. And we have the roof here, so I think that we do need to mark out some areas with more shadow. So I will just mark them out, and then I think that we do have a bit more shadow here with all of these, you know, leaves coming down. Actually, I think I will just color these, you know, little sticks, or what they are, in so we can see them. So let's use the bronze to give them a sort of a brown color. No highlights here. This is just so tiny. But we just need to mark these sticks that these beans are growing from here. Can't really see it over here anymore, but we also have it here, so let's just color this so we know where they are. Yeah, so I think that was it. And continue here with the olive green. And then, as I said, perhaps we should, you know, add some Prussian green, and we have the Prussian green here, so we can make some of these areas down here darker. So I have been wondering about something. Of course, I'm also someone who watches YouTube videos. I don't just make them, but I also watch other people's. And I always, when I see a video, I click the like button, because, you know, the YouTuber has done quite a work in making that video. But I have also noticed lately, in the last, half year, I think, that, you know, a video can perhaps have been seen, I don't know, 1,500 or 1,600 or 1,700 times, which is quite good, but it only gets like a 124 likes, or 98 likes, or 68 likes. And then I think, why don't people like the videos anymore when they watch them? Are there so many people who just watch videos and forget the hard work that the YouTuber has had making the videos? I mean, if they are really unsatisfied, they could just, you know, not watch the videos. I have really been wondering about it, because I think that last year and the year before that, people were more inclined to liking videos on YouTube. And it's like, well, they don't anymore. Or otherwise they press the dislike button. So I don't know why that is. Why more people don't like a video. I mean, if 1,500 people have seen a video, or it has been shown 1,500 times at least, and, you know, some people don't watch all of the video, I just don't understand why they don't like it. I mean, if they keep watching, that must mean that they, shouldn't it? That they liked it and that they found it useful. So I think it's a bit weird that people just don't like videos anymore. I mean, I know the hard work that people put into their videos, so I always support by liking them. But I don't know why more people don't like the videos anymore. Or if they just think that everything they see on YouTube is crap. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't have said that word here on YouTube, but, you know, isn't perhaps very good. But I'm just wondering, I think it's a really, really weird thing. So you can see we have the apple green up here. And I think that we will just blend some more olive green in, because I think that this became way too light to my liking anyway. Well, it really takes a toll using these tiny pencils here. So you can see here that when we blend it together, it becomes a more natural look. So now I will take the apple green and I will press harder than I did in the beginning, and also bring the apple green down here to add some, a lighter color on top of this olive green and Prussian green. But write your thoughts down in the comments. Why don't people like videos more often? Perhaps people are too busy? I don't know. I mean, I also like people's posts and reels on Instagram. Because, they have made quite an effort and colored pages and did the best. And of course, you have to support each other this way. So you can see that, just want a little bit more of Prussian green. So you can see that blending the colors together, we do get the impression here of an apple tree with a little bit more light up here. The apples, well, I think that we have to bring in some red colors so that we can see these apples. This means that I will use the Scarlet Lake and the Carmine Red. So in small places like this, it's very difficult, to start with the dark color and then leave some highlight. So I will begin here with the lightest color. And just put some of the Carmine Red here. And I also think we have an apple here, and that was the apples here. And then the Scarlet Red around it. Then we get some nice green, or not green, no, some nice red apples. But you also could add, if you wanted to, a little bit of some chartreuse to the blend here. If you wanted also to have some sort of a little bit of green here. And then I will color a little bit here more with the Carmine Red. And then, because it's not easy to put highlights in such small areas, I will just use a white Posca pen to add a little white highlight here. Oh, I completely forgot this apple down here. And a little highlight here. So that was the apple trees. Okay, let's take this bird nest up here. And well, it looks like it has been made by some different kinds of, materials. So we'll just find some pencils here. Yeah. Okay, so let's use the burnt ochre and mineral orange and some goldenrod. So the burnt ochre is, of course, well, the darkest color here. And then we will take the goldenrod and add some color, and then the mineral orange. Well, and you know, sort of blend it a little bit together here. So if we want, we can, you know, just give it a layer here more with this burnt ochre. And then color on top with the goldenrod. And that's one of the good things about Prismacolors. You can just layer and blend and smush it all together. And then it's done. Then we have the house here. And this house, let's start here with the door. And well, I do like, you know, brown doors. And I like to see that, you know, we have a door here. But on the other hand, I am also thinking that we have to use some sort of a brown for the ground, because this is a kitchen garden, so we don't have any weed, I imagine. So I don't think we have any grass here, but more, you know, earth or dirt or whatever you call it. So a brown here, and I think we have the chocolate here, and then I will just find my dark brown, but I am afraid that this will be too dark, so I think that we will also have to use the light umber. So let's, with the door, because I do want some color here on the door, use the chocolate here to get some color on this door. So we just put some color on this sort of, you know, wood. And also here. So this must, of course, also be wood. And then I will take the light umber and just give it a little layer here on top, and I will not cover it entirely. We'll just put a little bit of color here and there. So you can see we still have some light areas here. And also a little bit of, you know, color here. But again, lightly. And then I will just clean my Prismacolor blender pencil. And then I will take the Prismacolor blender pencil and blend it. And you can see that this blends the colors together, but it also, you know, stretches the color, if I can use that word. It sounds a bit weird, but it sort of stretches the color so it's not quite that dark. And we get some, you know, light areas here. So you can see we do get some more natural highlights here. It's not all dark. So you can see that's a nice door. And then down here, I use a light umber, and I put a little more color down here, because when I use the blender pencil, then you can clearly see that it gets another color down here. I will just sharpen my chocolate, because I would like to have a little bit of a darker color here with the window. And this one, because I want it to be a bit darker, I will not blend out. And I will also use the chocolate down here. And I want it to be darker down here, so I will not be blending this one. Then you can see we have some metal here, and I will just be using the 50% cool gray, yeah. And then I will use the 20% cool gray to blend this one out. So you can see you can both use the blender pencil, but you can also use, as I said before in the beginning, a lighter color to blend out the different things. This looks like a little lamp, probably also metal. So when you color a house like this, it's best, to not use too many different colors, because then it, gets a bit overwhelming with all of these colors. So I will just use the same metal colors here, the 50% and the 20% cool gray. And here we just have the 50, and up here I blended with the 20%, because then, we get a color difference. And as I said, this looks like a lamp, so I don't know if it's on, but we can, use the canary yellow here and a deco yellow. So we can see that we do have a lamp here. And since I used the chocolate for this, I will also be using it for this window. So the windows will be the same here, with the wooden framing here. And also here. So here I just press, because I don't want to layer, I don't want to blend it, I just want it to be this chocolate brown. And then of course I would like it to have a darker color, so I will use the dark brown underneath it. This also helps to create some shadow. And then the ultimate, the dark umber, because this is dark, just to add some shadow here. And this I can also use here. And also here. And very lightly on top here, but more here. But if I want to create a little bit of shadow on the metal, then I will just have to use the very darkest of the cool grays. I mean, perhaps you could use it here, but again, this is with the wood, so I think it's okay to use the dark umber here. But when it's all metal, then use the 90% cool gray. So what about these windows? Well, usually I like to, give it a sort of warm yellow glow, but I think that we will have to settle for, kind of a blue window-like one. So I will use a powder blue, and I will just add a tiny, tiny, extremely light layer of color. And you can, if you looked at it close, you could see I just am drawing diagonal lines here. I just want it to be the lightest of the lightest of color, so you can see it, but it's not that obvious. Okay, so then we have some wood here. And again, I think I will go with the chocolate, because I have the chocolate down here. So why not make this framing with the chocolate? And also up here. And here we will again use the dark umber, because we need to create a little bit of shadow to tell this wood apart from the window, of course. And we can see, it looks like that the house itself is made of wood and not bricks. So this is also going to be a brown color. But since I have used the chocolate here, then I think that we should use another color. And I think that I just have to find it. I think this is the something sienna. I can't remember the color. So if I just find this, sienna brown, when you use it, then eventually you wear this text down and then you can't see what it is. So I will use this sienna brown to stay, within the brown color palette, but a different sort of color. You can see here actually the color family chart: burnt ochre, terracotta, sienna brown, chestnut, well, weird color, chocolate, and dark umber. So you can see the light umber I brought in with the chocolate to lighten it a bit up, and then the sienna brown is a lighter color than the chocolate, but it's in the same color family. The dark umber to create shadows, also in the same color family, and the dark brown in the color family with the light umber, but a bit darker to create shadows. So you can use these color families together and, use different color families. And I think that you can see where I'm going with this. I am, of course, going to lay down the color and then use the blender pencil to blend it. But I do want some color here and at the side and a bit up here. So then we take the blender pencil, just clean it here a bit after the door, and then we begin blending. So now you do get a color, but it's not, what can I say, a dominant sort of color in this house. But be sure to add some color here, because if there aren't enough color pigments, then it will be difficult for this blender pencil, you know, to sort of blend it out, and then it will just look really weird. But you can see we have enough color pigments here to blend it. And also down here. So I think that this color and chat is more explanation of how I'm doing than, you know, a conversation about everything else. Well, I will talk about something else when I color this roof. So we have this one, and it also looks like wood. And I think that we will have to bring in a new color. I do think that the dark umber will be way too dark here. So I thought about the sepia. But it's also very dark. It's in the same color family as the light umber and the dark brown. So I thought that if I just give it a light layer here, we could use the blender pencil to blend it out so we do get some color, but it will not be, you know, completely dark or too dark. So just clean my blender pencil for the sienna brown and use it here. And you can see we get a nice brown color, but it's not too dark because we just blend out these color pigments, and then we have a nice brown color, but again, not too dark and dominant. And then we have the roof itself, of course, and here I always like to use sort of a dark red, so I think the Tuscan red will be really good at this. So you can see here that I ease the pressure at the end of these tiles. So we do get a small highlight here. And also on the other side here. And the last one down here. And of course also with these. And these, well, it looks a bit weird because is this some sort of, you know, first floor where the roof goes out or what? It really looks funny and a bit crooked. So I think that we will just, you know, color it this way. Again, ease the pressure a bit here at the bottom and create some highlights. Oh, I get so absorbed that I completely forgot to, well, I wanted to say something. Okay, then I will just add some shadows, and because this is a red color, I will not use a brown, I will use a dark color. And I think that the 90% cool gray will be really good at this. You know, we just have to, because I do think that we have a little bit of shadow here where they sort of, you know, overlap. Well, I have been thinking a lot about, you know, should I make some coloring goals or what this year? Usually, you know, I just color, But I have been thinking about, you know, perhaps it's time that I finish some of the coloring books that I'm coloring in, because I have been coloring in some of them for some years now, and it would also be nice, you know, to finish it. I think that we will also have to, you know, so we can see that we do have a sort of difference here. Here they might overlap here, so we put some shadow down here. And then I began looking in my coloring books, and I thought, oh, it should be Twilight Garden. And then I counted the pages, and it turns out that I still need to color, I think it was 57 pages in that book. And I thought, oh, but I have colored so many. How can there be so many pages left? But it turns out that I really do need to color a lot more pages. And then I thought, perhaps it shouldn't be Twilight Garden. Perhaps it should be, you know, Magical Jungle. Then I counted the pages in Magical Jungle, and lo and behold, I also needed to color more than 50 pages in that book. I think it was 56 or 55 pages in that book. And then I thought, well, perhaps Seasons, because I have colored quite a lot in Seasons this winter. And then I counted those pages I needed to color in Seasons. And then I realized that I needed to color, I think it was 65 pages or so in that book. It was absolutely insane. And then I thought, well, perhaps not one of these books. And then I counted the pages in Tales from Atlantis, and I still needed to color, I think it was 47 pages in that book. And I think those are the coloring books that I have colored in the most. And, you know, I can't stop laughing because, well, but then I thought, well, I do have not an entire year, but almost an entire year. I mean, it's only been the first 3 months of the year now. So perhaps I could begin. So I think I will make a video about my coloring goals for this year soon. And then I will look at it there. But here you can see the house. And now it's almost done, because I realize now that when I look at it, I would really like a little bit of shadow under this lamp or whatever it is. I think it's a lamp, and this window. So I use, of course, my dark umber to create some shadows here. And by the way, I will soon make an episode of my tips and tricks for beginner colorists, and I will show you how to highlight and create shadows. So just to do a quick examine of the paper now that we have colored quite a bit of the page here. You can see the paper here begins to curl a bit here where the color is, and a little bit down here. And that is something I see in some coloring books with the paper when it's covered with color, that they begin to curl up here in the end. If we look at the other page here and examine this, because some people complain that the pencils, sort of went through the pressure and all. If I just examine it, it still feels like paper, except for here, in this one little spot, it's like something has been pushed too hard. But if I turn the paper, it's right around here where I haven't really colored these leaves yet. So that's a bit mysterious. Yeah. Perhaps it's where I added a little bit of shadow under this apple tree. But, even though I have blended and layered and smushed the colors together here, you cannot feel it on the paper here on the other side. So I think it works out using Prismacolors in this book here on this paper. Well, let's look at some of these plants down here. We don't have all the time in the world, but I do think that we have time to color some of it. We have some carrots down here. So if we just use the pale vermilion for the shadow side of these carrots, then we can use orange for the rest of the carrot. So some nice carrots here. And then I think, as I said, that perhaps, I think this tip here, we will take the grass green. I think it's always such a nice green color with the tops of carrots. So let's add some grass green here. And, oh, the apple green was here. Let's add a bit of the apple green on top here. So we get a nice top here on these carrots. And then the 90% French gray here. So just add a little bit here. And these are some very young sprouts. I think that they are perhaps spring green, you know, a very bright and light green color. And then we have, and this is this lettuce or cabbage? You know, let's just say that this is some sort of perhaps white cabbage or something. You know, it's supposed to be extremely healthy, so I will use the Kelly green as a dark green here. And the set green light. And you can see I leave a bit of room out here, because if you want to, you could add a tiny bit of pale sage to blend it with and still leave some of the outer tip a bit white. You don't have to, you know, color it all. And then I would go over again with the Kelly green just to make it a bit darker here in the middle. And if you want an even darker middle, you could use the olive green, which I should have somewhere. Ah, here it was. Could go for an olive green in the middle if you wanted a little bit more color there. So carrots and these young sprouts or whatever they are, and the cabbage. I still can't really figure out what this is. I do think that, well, it looks like we have some sort of berries. Well, I will have to think about that. I'm not quite sure what this is. But let's look at these leaves up here. I think that we will use a bit here of some grass green with these bean leaves or these bean plants. And then we will have a lighter color, perhaps even, no, I think the lime green will be too weird. So I think that we will use, that was chartreuse, that will perhaps be too light. I think that we will first use the spring green on top of the grass green. And then I will actually just add some more grass green here. I think it became a bit too yellow there with the chartreuse. But sometimes you have to try new color combinations because otherwise you wouldn't know what it would look like. But the grass green here and the spring green. So the carrots, apple green and grass green, and over here grass green and spring green. And then we have these plants here. And I think that perhaps they should be a tiny bit darker. What about a dark green here? So we do get a darker green sort of leaves here. You can see I'm just adding some dark green here. And then I think that perhaps to keep the dark, we will just add the grass green on top of this. So we get some really nice dark, but also a bit bright leaves here. And this just goes to show that you can use the grass green for many different green color combinations. So I think that this worked out quite nicely. These plants over here, they really annoy me because I'm not really sure what sort of plants they are. Because sometimes it looks like flowers, but I think that these round ones are just, I don't know, I will just come up with a color combination for these. So I will use the lime green over here. And you know, with leaves as small as this, you just use two colors. The 2 pencil rule. And then I will take the chartreuse for the rest of the leaf. And there it is, the garden. So to prevent this video from being too long, we are going to stop now. But as you can see, we only need to color the sign and the earth here with the garden, the path to the house, and then this fence and these tin cans here. Thank you so much for watching this video. Watch out for my next community post because we are going to have a Klara Markova coloring next. And you have already voted that you want to see a Klara Markova. So watch out for the community post where you can vote between different pages from some of her books and upcoming videos, except from this color and chat. Also a review of the Marie's oil-based coloring pencils. And of course a new episode in my new series, Tips and Tricks for Beginner Colorists. So, have a lovely day, and until I see you in the next video, take care of yourself. Happy coloring. Bye.